Та ердөө 6,000 төгрөглөөд гэр бүл Азийн хөнгөлөлтөнд бүртгэлтэй дотны 5 хүнтэйгээ өдрийн сарын турш хязгааргүй яриарай. Mobicom.
Сайн байцгаана уу хүн төлөвчтэй. Өнөөдөр манай дефактоны төрөлгийн зочноор Монголын Applus Velosi Mongolia гэж компани гүйцэтгэх захирал ноён Майкл Маршалл оролцож байна. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Such a name, Applus Velosi. Please tell us about the name and your company.
Thank you very much. Applus Velosi is a Spanish-based company out of Madrid. We're listed on the Spanish Stock Exchange, and we first arrived in Mongolia in 2012. At that time, we were a dual-branded company. When I say dual-branded, we were known in Mongolia as JDA Applus Velosi. JDA stood for John Davidson and Associates. John Davidson and Associates is an Australian HR and recruitment firm that has vast experience over the last 25 years. Applus Velosi saw value in John Davidson and Associates and acquired JDA because of the depth of experience in HR, the large database, and we thought we could add value with the people globally, including Mongolia. And now we are branded, just a single brand, Applus Velosi Mongolia.
Now you said just now the JDA came to Mongolia. It has own value, and it was a part of HR.
Yes.
How much was that expectations fulfilled since you were running that company, now you are running this company? So.
Yes, it's a really big challenge. It's like starting two companies after 2 years, going back to the beginning. So have I realized everything that I came here to do? No. Some people say that I arrived too late. Some people say I arrived too early. Just as I arrived, the mining sector was starting to turn down.
Yes.
And it was fortuitous to allow me to concentrate on other industries other than just the mining industry. So I'm hoping that with the additional suite of services that Applus Velosi provides, we can not only add value in the HR and manpower services area, but also in the engineering infrastructure sector.
Obviously, Applus Velosi Stock Exchange in Madrid, listed company, huge, billions of dollars of company. Before talking about that values that company can bring to Mongolia, let's talk a bit about human resources.
Certainly.
Situation in the country, how do you see, because you have certainly very interesting experiences, how do you find to the human resource situation in the country and where we could improve it?
It's a good question. I believe that every company's value is in their people. And that is something that is yet to be realized fully in Mongolia. I find Mongolian people very well educated. And as one would expect in a developing country and a developing economy, there is a gap between education and experience. And as time goes on and industry improves and the economy improves, that gap will close. And as such, people will be able to put into practice some of the things that they have learned from education not only within Mongolia, but from outside Mongolia. There are many people that have studied abroad, and that experience and education is part of Mongolia's future that needs to be harnessed correctly.
Very interesting observations. Education and experience gap in the country. At the initial period of any developing countries, it's huge, then it goes down. And you also mentioned about foreign studied Mongolians coming back. So when you, exactly your company looking or meeting both of them on two sides, Mongolian graduates and foreign graduates.
Yes.
Where is distinctive differences that you would think, to pay attention more?
Sure. The foreigners that come to Mongolia, they want to make a difference. They want to add value, And how do they do that? They do that with the experience that they have gained globally in similar situations, in similar markets, in similar developing economies. That is where they add the value the most. Part of the role of a foreigner or an expatriate is to put some of the skills and lessons that they have learnt into the national culture, into Mongolians. So mentoring and a succession plan is paramount for any organisation that wants to survive and add value and be respected in the Mongolian economy.
You said mentoring and successions, which are kind of weak points in particular national Mongolian companies where
Yes.
I also used to work, and I know what problems you are talking about.
Yes.
What would you advise for, say, a company, Mongolian company, working here in terms of successions? What does it work? How does it work?
It needs to be a formalised plan. One should not be scared of talent. And I think some of the old sayings, such as knowledge is power,
Yes.
becomes very prevalent in this society. For me, if I am surrounded by someone who is smart or even smarter than me, I can learn from that person, whether they are Mongolian, American, European, I do not care. They will make me look good if I allow them to grow and be all that they can be. As a career expat who has travelled in many countries, I believe that my role here is to assist in closing that gap. And I don't think that having someone next to me who's smarter is a problem. It makes me feel very good about my mentoring program.
We talked about successions, and then the mentoring issue is it's completely kind of a separate channel for brewing your HR, right?
Yes.
To better conditions. How does it work on the average company? What kind of policy they should include in mentoring? Obviously, better experience with more senior people kind of help the younger or newly arrivals.
Yes, you can set up a training matrix or a mentoring plan where you identify not only what the employee needs, but what the company needs from the employee. And appoint a designated mentor who spends time with them, making sure that they achieve their goals and their training regime to get to where they want to go. There's another saying that what happens if you train people and then they leave? Well, the flip side of that is what happens if you don't train people and they stay?
Yes.
So one must be prevalent in training and making sure that people are growing, because your company will grow with your people as they become more experienced and more competent. And that will obviously have an effect on the bottom line.
So this obviously GDA having an interesting human resource database for Mongolia, 3 years working, collecting probably, and you have been finding HR or executives to the companies who are looking for them, right?
Yes, we did business development since 2006, and it took us 6 years to come to Mongolia after that business development. We were working with some of the international companies only, and that concerned us because we saw an opportunity to work with national companies also. And as I've said, the Mongolian people have untapped potential, and we believe that we can assist Mongolian people in reaching their potential.
In that sense, with help of your database,
Yes.
you can also allocate Mongolian professionals to outside the world, right?
That is the plan. That is
Okay.
the plan. Mongolians like to travel, but Mongolia is always home for Mongolians, I've noticed.
Yep.
And the same for me. When I finish in Mongolia, perhaps I will return home to Australia. Australia will be there waiting for me. But yes, part of the strategy as the gap closes between education and experience is if people would like to work abroad in other countries, we will be able to facilitate that.
Mike, my last question on human resources, why? You were born in Australia, in Perth.
Yes.
And what brought you to the so much sensitive resources management like human resources? your school, your education, why you became a professional in human resources?
I'm a people person. I understand.
I see that.
I understand their challenges. I understand their goals and their dreams, and I believe I can build a path for them to reach them. I like to add value to people's lives. So human resources allows me to meet people from many walks of life and to help them achieve their goals. And so far, my time in Mongolia, I'm enjoying the challenges immensely. And I tell you, there are many challenges.
Well, let's go back to Applus Velosi, main businesses, infrastructure, integrity of assets.
Yes.
And, well, also scanning, checking.
Yes.
Please tell us about what is the major things you want to achieve in Mongolia?
Yes, Applus Velosi is an international accredited inspection services company. We can inspect infrastructure to ensure the integrity of the buildings is there. We can inspect piping to ensure the width of the piping is correct. In a country like this where piping for heating and water in the summertime, the pipes are dug up and replaced.
Tell me.
For me, I don't have enough experience in Mongolia to understand how they identify which pipes need to be replaced. But we have specialist equipment that can read through the ground what is happening in the pipes. And I think that is an opportunity that is untapped so far.
Well, you know what? That will help our city, in particular, authority to understand what's happening with our pipes. And there are many things happening. Well, even I know that, but they should know that
That's right.
With the purpose that they have a planned reconstruction or repairing of them, because one guy comes, put a road.
Yes.
Next, another guy comes and cut it.
Yes.
Because they need to change the pipe or replace
That's right.
it. So these two things to get together, I think you have a lot of business in Mongolia in that sense.
I hope so. And I hope that not only for my sake, but for the country's sake, to think and work smarter and identify opportunities to improve infrastructure, not just piping. We have been fortunate enough to be working with some of the larger infrastructure projects in the country right now. And whether that be paving, whether that be road work, whether that be construction of buildings, inspection of concrete, quality control for procurement of materials that are bought.
Even materials to bought.
Yes, we do vendor inspection. So if you're going to buy some steel to put in your high-rise building, we can ensure that that steel is the quality that you want it to be.
Цаг хугацаа давтагдшгүй. Харин түүнийг яаж зөв ашигласнаар бидний амжилт бүтээл, аз жаргал биднийг дагдаг. Урлагийн хүний хувьд гэр бүл, уран бүтээлдээ зарцуулах цагаа зөв зохицуулах хэрэгтэй байдаг. Бидний хэрэглээ улам ухаалаг болсоор байгаа нь та бүхэнд харагдаж байна. Харин энэ бүхэн надад үнэхээр их таалагдчих.
Ухаалаг орон сууц. King Tower Apartment.
Аюултай 6,000 төгрөгөд гэр бүл Азийн хөнгөлөлтийн бүртгэлтэй дотны 5 хүнтэйгээ өдрийн сарын турш хязгааргүй яриарай. Mobicom.
You see, in Mongolia, Mike, not necessarily the company will be dying for you. I think mostly the insurance company will be dying for you.
Yes, I would agree
And
with
have
that.
you made already contracts?
We are talking to as many people as possible. Part of the challenge, and just like how this interview started, we were branded, dual branded, so the HR has been where we have been recognized to start with. And one of the reasons for talking with you, not only because you're a well-respected person amongst the Mongolian community, is to introduce some of the services that we can supply.
Okay.
I think, if I may say, in the 3 years that I've been here, I think we are very well known in the foreign community. But we were well known in the foreign community before coming here. One of the challenges for me is to be respected in the Mongolian community.
I think that would come with the quality of work projects you do. And then before we go to the other sector, you are involved in Mongolia, to my best knowledge. I'd like to share some ideas with you and ask you questions. See, now there's a lot of construction is going on, and still, in spite of all this slowdown, still keeps going on.
Yes.
A lot of high rises. And you buy not only apartment, you buy real estate,
Yes.
which down the road should be more
Should
valued.
add value, should appreciate.
Yeah,
yes.
we would appreciate. Then for that, today they need independent opinion of professionals like you that this is the worth. It is quality of cement is there, beton is there. How does it in general work? Is it insurance-driven business? How do people make sure that your real estate you bought with a huge money you earn all your life to buy a house? Then where's the weak point here? Where to start?
Currently, everyone globally is feeling the financial crisis, and quality costs money. And there's a saying, I'm not rich enough to buy cheap things. That means the cheap products that you buy, you will have to replace. And you'll end up spending more money than if you bought an expensive product. So supply and demand. If the market represents a lower cost price, then sometimes quality is sacrificed, and it cannot be.
Should not be.
It should not be. But in preparation for this interview, I spoke to my Mongolian staff and asked them what they wanted me to talk about. They talked about the garage that's full of water every winter. They talked about the cracks in their apartment buildings. They talked about some of the problems that they could see around the country and not have the tools or the experience or the expertise to make positive change. So it needs to come from the companies themselves.
The roads that you have to rebuild every
Yes.
year.
Yes. Now, in some countries, when financial institutions are involved, they need to ensure the quality of the building that they are investing in. And how do they ensure that? They talk to companies such as Applus Velosi and ask them to pre-qualify certain bids and certain materials to ensure that all international standards are met.
And on another side, I thought if we have regulations that the insurance company makes sure that this is worth of that much of the
Yes.
value.
Yes.
That's you cannot enforce, but however, it should be also demanded by consumers.
It should
I
be demanded.
Want good quality, right?
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about the project, wind farm project
Yes.
you're going to do. What is this about?
As you know, there is one wind farm in Mongolia already, the Salkit wind farm.
Yeah, Salkit, yes.
That is operational. And there is talk of other wind farms to come in the future. Applus Velosi has been successful in winning the owner-engineer contract for the Sanshan wind farm. The Sanshan wind farm has been talked about for a little while now.
Yeah.
It is reaching a point where it is going to become a reality. Contracts are being awarded.
How big the farm is?
It will be a 54 megawatt wind farm, which
okay.
is slightly larger than the
Yes.
Salkit wind farm.
Yes.
I think wind farms in Mongolia will add a lot of value, and that's something that Applus Velosi also believes in. We have a renewable energy division where we concentrate on solar and we concentrate on wind farms and wind power. And I think that's something that Mongolia is leaning towards and should lean towards more and more. I recently went to a conference on renewable energy, and the title of the conference was Mongolia, the Renewable Energy Country.
Where?
It was here.
Okay.
It was here. It was in Mongolia. And I thought that was very good title for the conference, but I'm not sure I agree with it just yet.
Okay.
One wind farm probably doesn't equal a renewable energy country, but there is plans. And
There's a bigger dream even to supply, if we use this wind capacity we have
Yes.
in the South Gobi,
Yes.
or in our Gobi, southern part of the country, throughout all
Yes.
these hammocks. They say that we have billions, trillions have a mega power capacity.
Yes.
And in ideal case, those can be reconverted into energy and supplied to Asia general or larger super grid.
Yes, the supergrid is something that's been talked about and will add a lot of value.
Yeah.
The wind farms and solar power, I believe, should be part of the future for Mongolia. I understand that the coal that is in the ground right now and the coal-fired power stations that are burning, that will take time to wean off those. However, in the short time that I've been here, and foreigners judge their time in Mongolia by how many winters one can survive.
You survived 3 so far.
I've survived 3 winters so far, and the pollution during the winter months is a challenge. It's one of my biggest challenges as a human.
What should we do? What is the best things to?
I think Mongolia is making some positive change and trying to move towards renewable energy as opposed to some of the coal-fired power stations. Having said that, you know, everything again is about cost. But how do you measure cost? Is it a financial measurement, or is it a measurement in life and quality of life?
Yeah, now many consider, in particular our new mayor office considers, I think rightly so, replacing all this care district, this, you know, using for fuel this coal, half-burned coal.
Yes.
I mean, this forever will change the air pollution situation in the country.
It will, and the mayor and the government are making moves in areas such as the Gur district. Change takes time. I think, as I said before, some people said I'm here too early or too late. I think I'm here at exactly the right time. Some of the lessons learned, the key learnings from the last 10 years of in Mongolia to where they are today, I think that we are here at just the right time when people's minds are open on how to live better, on how to build better buildings, on how to have a higher quality of life. So I am very happy right now that the time that I am here is a time of change.
How does it look like being a foreigner in Mongolia? How do you feel? How is it difficult? Is it?
I'm very fortunate because I work with some very talented Mongolians. From a business point of view, I look forward to going to work because never is one day the same. What I thought that I learnt before I came to Mongolia, I did not. I'm relearning again on how to survive and how to, if this doesn't work, then let me change it. If this doesn't work, let me come up with another plan. The thing that I must share with foreigners is patience. Change doesn't happen quickly. There are some positive signs. However, I would like to see change happen more quickly. I would like to see the government and the people in power to facilitate a quicker change.
Well, there are many things obviously needed to be done. We
Yes.
criticize this democratic country.
Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah, and however, we still also feel a little bit challenged and sometimes frustrated that we don't do enough, and mostly things come because, well, it's international also, observers say, because the corruption. How do you see that in Mongolia?
Corruption is a very big word that has many connotations. I'm going to use a different word. I'm going to say that some of the closed circles in Mongolia make it difficult for a transparent international company such as Applus Velosi to work.
Why would do that?
Why do you do
Why
that?
would do they that?
I think that We've done it that way, so why do we need to change?
Okay.
So the norm. This is the way we've always done it. That doesn't mean that we can't have a new idea or introduce a new strategy or a new protocol or a new procedure or new equipment or a new building. Mongolia has changed a lot since I've been here. A Shangri-La hotel. They're building a brand new airport out at Nubia with Samsung C&T, Mitsubishi, money from the Japanese. There is change happening, and certain pockets of the country have identified the need for change. But not everybody embraces change. Well, change is difficult for some people. I hope that as the country improves, people see that was a good idea.
So your company has one so far, the Sanshan Wind Farm project, which will start next year, right?
Yes, it should start Q1 next year.
How big a project is this about? How many?
It's a 54 megawatt project. It's over $100 million investment, and there will be many people employed, and it will have a positive effect on the...
Is it this so-called PPP, or
Yes.
how does it work?
Yes, all of those things are signed
How long
already.
you will make and then give back when?
It has a 25-year investment strategy.
25 years operation.
It'll go longer than that.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll go longer than that. But, you know, as you understand, a wind farm, yes, it adds value to the environment and to the economy, but it is also, people invest for a reason.
Yes.
They want a return on their investment as well.
Certainly, why somebody should invest in the
Yes.
middle of nowhere with this money
right.
they have collected hardly.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
well, I mean, I think with that it's fine. It's
Yes.
we find quite okay with that. But compared with the similar projects, is it kind of?
It's to an international. It will be built to an international standard. The finance investment will be to an international standard. The financial returns will be to an international standard. It will be transparent.
And it is within your skills, capacity, and experiences.
Yes, as I said, we have a renewable energy division within
Yes.
the company. We have many offices around the world.
Okay.
And we are bringing experts to Mongolia, and we are also utilizing some of the skills that are now in Mongolia that were developed from the first wind farm. So ultimately it will equal more jobs for Mongolians as well, which is one of the reasons why we came here.
When I saw your website and the work you've done, I wish you know, or you make at least the quality inspection of probably a new project. I mean, the Central West Management System, which causes this big problem nowadays.
Yes.
And maybe you're familiar with these issues being in the Ulaanbaatar city.
Yes.
So in everything, this sort of projects, infrastructure, industrial projects, really this continuous independent evaluation of the quality.
It does.
And inspections.
Third parties, they are not on anybody's side. They are clear, transparent, and they guide other parties to ensure the quality of their investment, their product, their infrastructure is going to be the best that it can be.
See, but it will take a lot. Probably you will not bring every professionals from Spain or from around the world. You need a lot of training work. How do you see that part of cooperation with Mongolian educational or TWET, vocational training institutions?
I think there is a very real opportunity to work with local training institutions. And I think that on-the-job training is the best type of training. Classroom training can give one person theory, but not necessarily, the practical skills.
Germans do very well.
That's right. What our strategy is as we start to win work, our training mechanisms and strategies will increase on-the-job training. So we win work and we train on the job, and we're very open to talking to national training institutions to see how we can assist with some of our skilled experts.
And which you will do anyway.
That is the strategy, yes.
So it looks like you have a very full-scale preparation. It is starting from him and the resources
yes.
and skills.
Yes, I have never been busier in my life with regards to building a business and trying to communicate to the public of how we can add value. We want to add value. We want to be viewed as a responsible corporate citizen that can make a difference in the lives of Mongolians and to the country.
My last question is, Mike, on the current economic slowdown, not only in Mongolia, nowadays in China, then the
Yes.
US, then Europe, all this chain of changes, mostly slowdowns. How do you see that the revival, the renewing of Mongolian economic situation? When do you see that?
If I had my crystal ball with me, I would be a very rich man.
Okay.
The crystal ball is a little cloudy at the moment, and the global economy, yes, is suffering with slowdown in the China economy, what's happening in the stock markets at the moment. However, the mining cycle is every 4 to 5 years, peaks and troughs. And yes, when I arrived here, I seem to have got here at the bottom. I believe that there's some major investment opportunities still in Mongolia, and that will help drive the economy back up.
Well, Mike, let it be like this, and it's everybody's hope here. And a good note is every sort of crisis kind of corrects many mistakes, which
Yes.
is happening. Painfully, not painfully, different case. Anyway, I wish you and your company a lot of success, and your success will be also the success of Mongolia.
Thank you very much, Jagal. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and to talk to your viewers. I believe in Mongolia, and I would like to stay here for a long time to see some of the positive changes that I help initiate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Хүн үзэгчдээ өнөөдөр манай de facto нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Applus Velosi Mongolia гэж компани гүйцэтгэх захирал ноён Майкл Маршалл оролцлоо. Их баярлалаа.
Хаягд 6,000 төгрөгөөр гэр бүл найзын хүндлэлт бүртгэлтэй дотны 5 хүнтэйгээ өдрийн сарын турш хязгааргүй яриарай. Mobicom